Hey guys, welcome back to AP Lang. This is your professional AP Lang teacher, Sarah. Today we have a text analysis with the theme analytical reading. And we have an essay by Givhan. It's called An Image a Little Too Carefully Coordinated. So we have, to be honest, no idea what she's going to be writing about based on this title. So let me tell you a little bit. This is the writer behind the piece, and she conveys the importance of appearances and appropriate presentation by using the famous Roberts family as an example. And Givhan is writing about appearances and presentations, but she's not just coming from like a writer's perspective. She's actually a fashion editor and also a Pulitzer Prize winning writer. So she's very, I guess, achieved in both industries. She knows something about fashion. She also knows how to write. She's just a good writer in general. So I'm a little interested in what she's about to say, and let's jump right into it. She says, it has been a long time since so much syrupy nostalgia has been in evidence at the White House. So we're talking about where the American president lives, right? But Tuesday night, when President Bush announced his choice for the next Associate Justice for the Supreme Court, it was hard not to marvel at the 1950s-style tableau vivant that was John Roberts and his family. So it's very important that the president announces like the appointment to like a Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, which is the highest court of the American court system, right? So it's very important. Like there are not many justices in general. So John Roberts was finally appointed, and she's saying it's her opinion. It was hard not to marvel. Marvel means be amazed, and in a good way usually, by the Associate Justice himself and his family. So she's setting the context. If we had no idea what she was talking about, we know it's the White House. We know the president is announcing the appointment of the new Supreme Court Justice. There they were, John, Jane, Josie, and Jack, standing with the president and before the entire country. The nominee was in a sober suit, meaning like a serious, nice suit with the expected white shirt and red tie. So the Associate Justice himself was very nicely dressed, formally dressed. His wife and children stood before the cameras, groomed and glossy in pastel hues. So pastel colors, like a trio of Easter eggs, a handful of jelly bellies, 3 little Necco wafers. I think it's a compliment. I think that's for sure. So the man himself is well-dressed. His family is also looking quite lovely in pastel colors. Again, Givhan is a fashion editor, so she knows what she's talking about. Let's take a look at the next part. There was tow-headed Jack, having freed himself from the controlling grip of his mother, enjoying a moment in the spotlight dressed in seersucker suit with short pants and saddle shoes. That's really cute. His sister Josie was half-ridden behind her mother's skirt. So we know both the location, the posture of the children, as well as what they were wearing. She was wearing her blonde page boy glistened. She was wearing a yellow dress with a crisp white scholar lace-trimmed anklets and black patent-lathered Mary Janes. Can't you just picture it? If you don't know what these terms are, they're basically just like really cute, nice dresses. So the boy, Jack, was wearing a nice suit with short pants, so very casual and very, I don't want to put a stereotype to it, so that's all I'm going to say, but casual, sporty, but also really cute. And the little girl was wearing a cute yellow dress with a collar and cute anklets and nice Mary Jane shoes. Who among us did a double take? 2 cute blonde children with a boyish-looking father getting ready to take the lectern. Jack Edwards, Emma Claire, is that you? Are all little boys now named Jack? She's being a little bit humorous. I'm surprised this is not an op-ed. Like, it's almost like an op-ed, right? So far, compliments after compliments of Jack and Josie. How they look the part, but not too formal, but they're also fun and cute. Let's see what she says next. The wife wore strawberry pink tweed suit with taupe pumps and pearls. Very elegant, right? Which alone would not have been particularly remarkable, but alongside the nostalgic costuming of the children, the overall effect was of self-consciously crafted perfection. The children, of course, are innocents. They are dressed by their parents. So when she's saying image carefully coordinated, I think what she's trying to say is that the family is dressed to really echo some of the sentimental nostalgia value of like a certain image. To be honest, I think this is obviously a reference, right? The blonde children in their respective attires, and also the wife, whose pink suit would not have been remarkable unless it was like paired with her the yellow and the seersucker suit of the children, right? And through their clothes choices, the parents have created the kind of honeyed faultlessness that jams mailboxes every December when personalized Christmas cards arrive, bringing greetings to you and yours from the Blake family or the Joneses. Everyone looks freshly scrubbed and adorable, just like they have stepped from a Career Ives landscape. So what she's saying is that this family looks picture perfect, right? I guess at least in American culture, there's the tradition of sending out Christmas cards and greetings cards. And what Givhan is saying is that the family is so dressed perfectly that it seems like they would go and take photos and send them out during, the holiday season. And she's not literally saying the Blake family or the Joneses. It's just a typically white, blonde family, right? Looking just perfect as always. Everyone looks really groomed and perfect, and they also look like something from, like they just walked out of a Career and Ives landscape. And she goes on, in a time when most children are dressed in Gap Kids and retailers of similar price point and modernity, the parents put young Master Jack in an ensemble that calls to mind John John Kennedy Jr. So she's not being totally critical, but in a time where kids are dressed in totally sporty, casual attire, the fact that they're in this like cute 60s era, like very nostalgic suit, even the kids, it reminds us of a very beloved like John Kennedy Jr., right? So I think she's saying that they've done their part. They have fully fulfilled the objective of looking really nice in front of the camera, in front of the whole American audience. Separate the children from the clothes, which do not acknowledge trends, so it's very classic, popular culture of the passing time. They are not classic, they're old-fashioned. These clothes are old world, old money, and a cut above the light-up shoe buying hoi polloi. Hoi polloi means the people, okay? She is somehow saying they are not classic, they are old-fashioned. These clothes are old world, old money, meaning what? Generations of old, like a lot of, wealth, right? The family's really wealthy, and something about a little bit like very, very high class, elite class. So she's saying what the children are wearing here, especially in reference to a certain beloved figure, she's making a little bit more of a critique, right? So far, because we haven't done any like close analysis, I'm just going to point out that, she did say an image a little too carefully coordinated, which hints at like a certain thing negative. But so far, I think there might have been like a little bit of a transition going on here, but we'll have to read a little bit more. So far, what mostly she did is just describe the suits and the attire, the dresses, the kids and the mother were wearing. And now she's going into commentary. So again, because this is an essay, it's not just going to be a description about what happened. It's not a journalistic report. She's making an argument and an opinion. And I think she's going to go into that now. The clothes also reflect a bit of the aesthetic havoc that often occurs when people visit the White House. Okay, there we go. Again, as I said in the very beginning, she's using the Roberts family as a way to make an argument about appearances and appropriate attire. And here's the big question. Clothes also reflect like an aesthetic chaos or like confusion that happens when people visit the White House. Like what? What should I wear? How do I look? Take my picture. The usual advice is to dress appropriately. What does appropriately mean? In this case, an addendum would have been helpful, meaning appropriately should have been described. Please select all attire from the commonly accepted styles of this century. So this is what she's saying. When you visit the attire, it would be nice if someone just told you, wear something that's commonly accepted, just appropriate. Meaning appropriate is hard to define, but this is what she's saying of this century. Rather modern, might be old-fashioned, but nothing too progressive or nothing too experimental, but nothing too old-fashioned either, right? Let's take a look at the next part. And sometimes should have given notice to the flip-flop wearing women of Northwestern University's lacrosse team who visited the White House on July 12th for a meet and greet with the president. Proper footwear required. Flip-flops modeled after shoes meant to be worn in a public shower or on the beach have no business anywhere in the vicinity of the president and his place of residence. Okay, this is in parentheses. Interestingly, okay? And what she's saying is here, you have to be wearing something that's in the time period, but also commonly accepted. And now she's definitely critical, not of the Roberts family, but apparently, Northwestern University's lacrosse team were wearing flip-flops when they went to the White House. And she's saying, proper footwear you must wear. You can't wear shower shoes to meet the president or anywhere near where he lives. You have to show respect, and it's not what she calls appropriate attire. So she's criticizing the Northwestern lacrosse team. Let's take a look at what she has to say next. Dressing appropriately is a somewhat selfless act. It's not about catering to personal comfort. One can't give in fully to private aesthetic preferences. Instead, one asks what would make other people feel respected? What would mark the occasion as noteworthy? What signifies that the moment is bigger than the individual? This is like the climax of her piece. Again, we were waiting for her argument to really come through. She built it up by saying, totally complimenting the Roberts family, and now she kind of, in a very, it was in parentheses, but she was also quite direct in criticizing the lacrosse team, how they were wearing open-toe shoes that were just totally inappropriate, right? She's now making a comment. Dressing appropriately is about being respectful, about being selfless. It's not about being comfortable in your own skin. You have to know what to wear something to like some occasions. Like I think it's called like TPO, right? Time, place, occasion, when you're trying to choose an attire. Like something is appropriate for a night out with your friends, something is appropriate for like a ceremony, funeral, wedding, lectures. Like me as your teacher, like I can't wear like spaghetti straps and like, well, you can't see my shoes, but I can't wear random super casual shoes when I'm standing in front of students, right? So Givhan is saying specifically what to do. Some questions and answering the question, what is respectful and appropriate? You have to make others feel respected. You have to make the occasion noteworthy. And it's not about yourself. It's about the whole event. It might be a little bit different from the American ideals of like being, wear what you want to wear, be free, like be comfortable in your own skin. She's saying some moments are bigger than the individual. But the Roberts family went too far. See, remember how I said, she says they're not classic? They're being old-fashioned, old money, old world. And I said that kind of hints at a critical perspective. So she wasn't totally, it's kind of a big turnaround. She is criticizing, the point of the piece is not to criticize the lacrosse team entirely, it's about the Roberts family. And like I said, the title suggested a bit of a critical point, right? And she's saying now, though they were lovely and cute and nostalgic, they went a little too far in respecting that moment. Interesting. So she's not just sticking to what's appropriate attire for that moment. She's also going in to say what's being a little too respectful. I don't think that's like the correct phrase, but going too far. In announcing John Roberts as his Supreme Court nominee, the president inextricably linked the individual and his family to the sweep of tradition. So the president linked the family to tradition. In their attire, there was nothing too informal. There was nothing immodest. There was only the feeling that, in the desire to be respectful and appropriate of history, the children had been costumed in it. So I think this is also a very important part in our argument. If you go too far, you might feel like you're being costumed into playing a certain role. What that means is that you can't be too informal to be all about like, individuality and like what I want to wear. But if you go a little too far, it feels like you're being a little bit insincere, disingenuous, right? Let's take a look at the next part. Even the clothes are conservative. So this is now showing what? Political ideals, right? Judge John G. Roberts left and his wife Jane Wright with their children Jack and Josie listened to President Bush's announcement in a photo that is in the link. And it says the Northwestern women's lacrosse team raised eyebrows when several players wore flip-flops to their visit with President Bush. So what's being said here is if you want to look at the photo itself, please go to the article, but we don't need that. We've already been explained by Givhan in what exactly they were wearing. And the idea here is, again, this is like basically a huge criticism in the end. It looks costume. They don't even believe in their outfits. It's just to look good, okay? And conservative is something that can be made because the guy's being nominated or being appointed to the highest court of law in the States, and they were showing that one side of America. And here, with several over to their President Bush, this is also a pointing out to whom? The lacrosse team wearing flip-flops, and that was hugely, hugely inappropriate. So you see two contrasting captions regarding, the attire that people wear if they go a little too far, if they don't go far enough. And I think that's it for today. So we have noticed that there were many twists and turns in this article, and it was pretty straightforward. But I think the important part was it was not necessarily like an intuitive thesis just about, wear the part, look nice in front of, especially if you're going to be in front of the president. But she is also kind of giving a nod at pointing out a little bit about, you just have to hit the sweet spot. If you don't, there might be some consequences. So we have seen a really good piece of writing, short and sweet. And next time I'll be bringing you another piece, and I will see you then.